predicting that Caitlin Clark will probably play in Unrivaled.
There's a case to be made for her to play in Unrivaled in the sense of she needs to maybe not be inactive for this prolonged period.
December 2024, the league had a valuation of $35 million. 9 months later, the league announced they have a valuation of $340 million.
Unrivaled might be an opportune fit this time, considering Clark missed 28 games with groin and quad injuries.
Because on September 4th, the word officially dropped. Caitlin Clark's season is over.
2 minutes ago, fans are buzzing in disbelief. Caitlin Clark has done it again. This time, her name is being tied to the Unrivaled League, a potential game changer that could shake the entire landscape of women's basketball.
There's a case to be made for her to play in Unrivaled in the sense of she needs to maybe not be inactive for this prolonged period.
The whole Unrivaled situation is fascinating. They keep pulling in funding, and with the WNBA's CBA talks on the horizon, it feels like there's tension quietly building beneath the surface.
It'll be a story to follow. I'm not saying anything is or isn't happening definitively. They haven't had conversations yet, so I would lean against it based on that bit of information. But I do find the whole Unrivaled thing, the fact that they're able to continue to get, and that there seems to be some bit of conflict brewing, perhaps, in this WNBA CBA negotiation, whether it's conflict of interest or conflict of competition.
The championship clash between Rose and Vinyl pulled in 364,000 viewers, a solid number, but a stark drop compared to last season when the WNBA shattered records with more than 1 million viewers across 22 regular season games on ESPN.
The league averaged 221,000 viewers on TNT and True TV during its first season, with the championship game between the Rose and Vinyl drawing 364,000 viewers. Last year, the WNBA averaged at least 1 million viewers in a record 22 regular season games on ESPN. WNBA games on ION averaged 670,000 viewers up in 2024, up 133% from previous seasons. So they're not doing like...
After missing significant time in the WNBA this season, fans are eager to finally see Caitlin Clark back on the court, and that creates a prime opportunity to draw big viewership numbers.
So they have an opportunity from a viewership standpoint right here. If they offer her enough money and can get her in there, I think she could do more for their ratings than she would normally do for their ratings, because it's been so long since we've watched her play. God, I don't want to watch a 3x3 league. I don't. I literally made it through one half of basketball last year. I tried.
I'd put it at a 75 to 80% chance Caitlin Clark suits up, especially with the possibility of a lockout hanging over the league. There's just no scenario where a healthy Caitlin Clark sits on the sidelines and doesn't play basketball.
She might start her own league, but it's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely, but I would say there's a 75 to 80% chance Caitlin Clark plays, especially with the looming potential for a lockout. There is no way that Caitlin Clark is going to sit there and not play basketball healthy from September 2024 until May 2027. Because let's be real, everyone's like, oh, but Caitlin makes more money doing all these like talks.
Lainey Hamilton's meniscus tear in Unrivaled sidelined her for the WNBA season, a clear reminder of the risks that come with off-season play. Still, many argue that for Caitlin Clark, securing competitive reps is essential to keep her edge.
Here it says, but Nigel Lainey Hamilton did step into Unrivaled as a relief player and suffered an acute meniscus injury, which sidelined her for the entire WNBA season. But Lainey Hamilton was coming back from rehabbing a previous injury that had given her issues. Yeah, she had previous injuries, but she didn't have that. Lainey Hamilton tore her meniscus playing in Unrivaled, and it kept her out the WNBA season. So it says, of course, no player is completely safe when playing basketball in any league. The Seattle Storm's Jordan Horston suffered an ACL tear while playing in the 2025 Athletes Unlimited League, as did Nika Mule when she headed overseas to play in the Turkish club.
For Caitlin Clark, Unrivaled could serve as more than off-season scrimmage. It's almost a high-stakes rehab assignment. The 3-on-3 format emphasizes quick, explosive bursts over marathon conditioning, giving her a chance to truly test her ankle and groin in live action without enduring the full grind of a WNBA season.
The league is designed by players for players, as they say, right? So if you think about it, less run-in than 5-on-5, which means less wear and tear on the recovering body. It's a controlled environment taking place long after the WNBA season ends and well before the next one begins. And for a player like Clark, who needs to test her body in live game situations without the pressures of a full WNBA season, it presents a compelling middle ground between pure rest and jumping straight back into the fire. So while a full season in Europe will be a huge risk, let's think strategically. Is Unrivaled actually the perfect calculated opportunity for her?
If Caitlin Clark skips the offseason, her chances of returning as a top 5 WNBA player take a hit. That's why so many insist she needs Unrivaled or a similar league to keep her competitive edge razor sharp.
Incredible after taking 20 months off. But if Caitlin Clark comes back as the 12th best player in the league, then who cares about Caitlin Clark? I mean that. Like, if she comes back as the 12th best player, who cares? And if Caitlin Clark doesn't get game sharpness in this offseason, she's not coming back as the best player in the league. She's not coming back as a top 5 player in the league. She's just not. Because that's not how basketball works. That's not how basketball works. You need sharpness. You need to play. Iron sharpens iron. There's only so much you can do in workouts.
Unrivaled isn't just about competition, it's about opportunity. Players earn money, sharpen their skills, and get dedicated training. Branded as a true development league, Unrivaled could give Caitlin Clark the perfect balance, staying sharp, improving her game, and protecting her body from the wear and tear of a full WNBA grind.
And Unrivaled offers money to play. It offers, obviously, on top of that, training and individual work. I mean, Unrivaled prides itself on being a player development league, prides itself on that. And that could be something that could help her and keep her from being injured as well by keeping her body fresh and sharp. Now, there's also playing overseas or other options. And again, I'm not this is just me assessing the situation. It's not me telling her what she should or shouldn't do.
In December 2024, the league was valued at $35 million. Just 9 months later, that number skyrocketed to $340 million. Proof that this thing is catching fire fast.
December 2024, the league had a valuation of $35 million. 9 months later, the league announced they have a valuation of $340 million. $340 million. Listen, this thing is picking up. Let's take a look at the post from Unrivaled. Taking Unrivaled to the next level. With Unrivaled players remaining the largest equity group, this is how athlete-driven success looks.
Frankly, Unrivaled could throw down an even bigger paycheck to make it happen, though just how much they'd be willing to invest in her remains a mystery.
If you're willing to play in the WNBA with all these people that can't stand you, then the Unrivaled's sort of the same situation, all right? Except, frankly, the Unrivaled may pay you a bigger salary to do it. And what they're willing to pay her, I don't know at this point. And I don't know if she might not do a iron sharpens iron. I want to play some basketball. It's been a long time. And I don't want to wait all the way around to next May to play basketball when who knows if we're going to play in May of next year.
What many don't realize is that Caitlin Clark waited until the very last minute to decline Unrivaled. Her decision didn't come until late in the year, long after most assumed she'd be in.
And one of the things that people don't realize is that Caitlin Clark left it till really last minute to say no to Unrivaled. She left it really late because we were in November and they were talking about putting a full court press for Caitlin Clark. It was really, really late in the year when, by the time Caitlin Clark was officially out. So I think she was leaving the door open. Everyone was talking about it like that. And I do think that Caitlin Clark was 100%. I think she was leaving the door open for a potential.
With this season in the books, the focus now shifts to what's next. And one intriguing option stands out. The new Unrivaled League. It could be the perfect way for Caitlin Clark to stay sharp, stay healthy, and enter the next WNBA season at full strength.
And yeah, the headlines are all about the sophomore season being a wash and what it means for the Fever, but we're going to go a little deeper because while this season is over, the conversation is shifting to what's next. And a new intriguing possibility has emerged for her offseason after a season derailed by injury setbacks. The new Unrivaled League, as we know it, it could be the solution that keeps her game sharp and her body ready for the next WNBA season. So first, to even get why, before we get into the article, to even get why a league like Unrivaled is on the table, you have to understand how brutal the season was for her.
According to Sports Illustrated, Unrivaled presents Caitlin Clark with a compelling offseason path after a year disrupted by injuries. For the Indiana Fever star, it could be the key to keeping her game sharp and her body primed for the next WNBA season.
I don't really feel like she should be playing 3-on-3. I wouldn't even be mad if she played 5-on-5 overseas or whatever. Let's take a look at the article. This is in Sports Illustrated, written by Rosalini Lee. Again, shout out to her. It says, why Unrivaled offers Caitlin Clark intriguing WNBA offseason option after injury. After a season derailed by injury setbacks, Unrivaled could be the solution that keeps Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark's game sharp and her body ready to step into the next WNBA season. Okay, this is the part we really got to get to, right?
Unrivaled could be the perfect fit this time around, especially after Clark missed 28 games with groin and quad injuries. She'll likely be looking for off-season reps to regain her rhythm before making her WNBA return.
Clark explained she wanted a winter away from basketball grind, but Unrivaled might be an opportune fit this time, considering Clark missed 28 games with groin and quad injuries and will likely want off-season game reps. Indications are Clark was planning to make a decision by the end of this WNBA campaign, but after announcing this week she's out for the rest of the Fever season, the timetable may have changed. The lines of communication are certainly still wide open, especially since Clark and Collier share the same agent.
For Caitlin Clark, joining Unrivaled could check multiple boxes at once: a chance to expand her game, secure a paycheck, and, perhaps most importantly, apply real pressure on the WNBA. If Unrivaled continues to thrive, its success could force the league to respond in ways we've never seen before.
But objectively speaking, there are certainly reasons for Clark to play in Unrivaled beyond that, right? Like keep herself healthy and active, expand her game, get a paycheck. And by the way, put pressure on the WNBA, because I think, you could certainly see that happen. Pressure get put on the WNBA by the success of Unrivaled. I don't know how the CBA, is going to factor in exactly. And then there are reasons for her not to do it, of course, as well. And she's going to do what she wants to do.
Player salaries in Unrivaled are expected to stay in the six-figure range, with last season's average estimated at $222,000. On top of that, athletes can also receive equity in the league, though those opportunities are determined on a case-by-case basis.
Unrivaled will use some of its funds to increase venue space it has in Miami, adding 15,000 square feet for player facilities, including a second practice court, and 150 seats to the game arena. The average salary of players will remain six figures. Last season, players earned an estimated average salary of $222,000. Athletes who joined the league will also receive equity, but this will be decided on a case-by-case scenario as contracts are negotiated.
Right now, there's no active dialogue with Clark, Brazell said, but everyone knows we want the best players, and if they're interested, there will always be a spot for them.
On September 8th, the news broke that Unrivaled has raised another round of funding. That's what we just talked about. Quote, there's no current dialogue taking place right now. Brazell said of discussions with Clark. He then added, everyone knows we want the best players. Everyone knows that if they're interested, we always have spots. So he's saying if she wants to play, they will make sure she's got a place to play.
Unrivaled takes the opposite approach: a shorter season, fewer games, and an environment built around elite training and recovery. For Caitlin Clark, it could offer the ideal balance: staying sharp, building chemistry, and gearing up for the next WNBA season.
It can be argued that playing basketball in the offseason get players of the WNBA into game shape and limit the possibilities of acute injuries, whether it be overseas or electing to take part in Unrivaled. Though overseas ball means 30 to 40 games, heavy travel, often little regard for player recovery. Unrivaled is the opposite: shorter season, fewer games, and environment tailored around high-level training recovery. For Clark, this could be the perfect balance of staying sharp, developing a rapport with players in different teams, and getting ready for the WNBA season. I still think, I fully agree with everything Rosalina said. I fully agree with it.
Sports physician Dr. Laura Moore notes that muscle strains and acute injuries often strike when athletes aren't yet at peak fitness. That was the case for Caitlin Clark, who suffered a left quad strain early in the season. Many believe a league like Unrivaled could keep her active year-round and help prevent similar setbacks in the future.
It says, according to sports physician Dr. Laura Moore at the Hospital for Special Surgery, muscle strains are generally an acute event, and acute injuries generally tend to happen early to mid-season when athletes aren't quite fit enough. And while Moore was speaking on the biology of athletes in general, the sentiment applies to Clark, who suffered a left quad strain early in the season. And that's true. You got to remember, bro, Caitlin Clark, that first preseason game, she didn't even play because she was hurt.
During the WNBA's lengthy 8-month offseason, Caitlin Clark opted against playing competitive basketball. She reportedly turned down a lucrative offer to join Unrivaled's inaugural season, choosing instead to rest after her demanding college run. But now, after battling multiple injuries, the question lingers: did sitting out actually leave her more vulnerable when the season began?
Having not been injured since high school, we go down. So during the WNBA's long 8-month offseason, Clark elected not to play any competitive basketball, though she was reportedly offered a hefty sum of money to take part in Afisa Collier and Breonna Stewart new 3-on-3 league in its inaugural season. And it's not hard to understand after a heavy college season in 2024, where Clark went all the way to the WNCAA finals in April, stepped right up in the W in May, that she may have wanted some time away from the court.
If Caitlin Clark skips off-season basketball, she risks going nearly 20 months without playing a healthy game of gap that could be devastating for any elite athlete. No one can step away that long and return at the same level. That's why joining Unrivaled or another off-season league now feels less like an option and more like a necessity.
Caitlin has not played healthy basketball in a year. And if Caitlin doesn't play some form of off-season basketball, the WNBA season has an 8-month off-season. She will go 20 months without playing healthy basketball, a healthy game of basketball. I'm sorry, you can't just take 20 months off the sport and expect to be a top 5 player when you come back. It doesn't work like that. Sports does not work like that. Humans do not work like that. You do not take 20 months off. Caitlin Clark is not going to take 20 months off basketball. She's not. She's not going to take 20 months off basketball. Regardless of what you think, she's not going to take 20 months off basketball. That is career suicide.
Stay healthy and active, elevate her game, and secure a paycheck. Is Unrivaled on the verge of taking over? If Caitlin Clark wants to play, they'll make sure she has a spot, no question about it. For Clark, it could strike the perfect balance, staying sharp, building chemistry, and preparing her body for the grind of the WNBA season.
But objectively speaking, there are certainly reasons for Clark to play in Unrivaled beyond that, right? Like, keep herself healthy and active, expand her game, get a paycheck, and by the way, put pressure on the WNBA.
I see why with the valuation where it is, I see why they are like, no, we're not gonna stop Unrivaled. You know, like, I see it. This is crazy though, man.
On September 8th, the news broke that Unrivaled has raised another round of funding. That's what we just talked about. Quote, there's no current dialogue taking place right now. Brazil said of discussions with Clark. He then added, everyone knows we want the best players.
Though overseas ball means 30 to 40 games, heavy travel, often little regard for player recovery. Unrivaled is the opposite, shorter season, fewer games, and environment tailored around high-level training recovery. For Clark, this could be the perfect balance of staying sharp, developing a rapport with players in different teams, and getting ready for the WNBA season.
This is the story of a once-in-a-generation talent, a comeback destined to be bigger than ever, with the entire world waiting to witness it. With the threat of a lockout still uncertain, Caitlin Clark can't afford to sit idle. She needs to be in the gym competing, staying sharp, and keeping her game alive.
You know, the Fever are completely on board with that because they need her for 2026 season. But let me know what you guys think, because this conversation around the Unrivaled news, there's a new strategic path for players recovering for an injury. It's no longer just a choice between complete rest or of a grueling season overseas, because this new league offers a third way, controlled, competitive, and shorter term option to ramp up for a WNBA return.
Caitlin Clark needs to play some sort of 5-on-5, and we don't even know if there's going to be a lockout or not. So it's like, we can't expect her to just sit all year We don't know if it's going to be a season 2026. We don't know. So I don't expect her to sit, and I wouldn't want her to do that. She needs to be in the gym, playing 5-on-5 competitively.
There's a case to be made for her to play in Unrivaled in the sense of she needs to maybe not be inactive for this prolonged period.
December 2024, the league had a valuation of $35 million. 9 months later, the league announced they have a valuation of $340 million.
Playing in the inaugural season of a league built by her peers would send a powerful message. This isn't about leaving the WNBA, it's about making it stronger. Caitlin Clark joining Unrivaled wouldn't just be news, it would be history in the making. Don't miss what's next and make sure to like, subscribe, and share for more updates.